Hello, Bulldog Cheer families. I want to give you an overview on what to expect at the 2022 Uca Nationals. For some of you, this might be your fourth attendance, and then I have people all the way down to this is going to be their first time. So I hope that I will answer your questions and give you a big overview of what's going to happen, and then fill in the details as we know them and as they come along. The first thing I want to talk about is time frames. So I blocked off for excused absences from Wednesday, February the 9th through Monday, February the 14th. If you're going to drive down, this will give you 2 days to get there, as you need to be there on Thursday, February 10th by 2:00 p.m. We will have practice times at this point, and we'll have mat times that will be assigned to us that afternoon. So everybody needs to be there at 2:00 p.m. on Thursday, regardless of how you are getting there. If you're flying, please make sure that your flight gets to Orlando and you have plenty of time to get over to the hotel before 2:00 p.m. We probably will dismiss and let the kids go into the park on Thursday night. However, Friday, if that's when game day returns, we will probably not go into the park on Friday, as that's a pretty busy day, and save the park days for Saturday and Sunday, which would use our park tickets on Thursday night, Saturday, and Sunday. However, we will have to wait and see what the schedule looks like, because last year, as you know, we had to compete every day and we didn't have a ton of park time. So we will have to fit that in and tell the kids when they are allowed to go into the park and when they have to be on the bus and when they have to be over at ESPN. But those are the days we have blocked off. We have the possibility of competing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then there is a celebration party in the Magic Kingdom on Sunday night, which would negate you leaving either very late Sunday night or early Monday morning. All of those days are excused as an LCA absence from school from Wednesday, February the 9th through Monday, February 14th. I posted pricing last week in the band. As soon as they sent it to us, I sent it out to you guys, telling you what the pricing will be for this year and then any add-ons. A lot of you have asked about staying extra days. So if you do the extra days and you want it to count for your athlete's room, there is a space down at the bottom that tells you that it's $199 per room. However, I was told today by several parents that they have found that cheaper just by booking that one night through the Disney app or through the Disney reservations. So if you want to check out that would be fine. If you are just going to go one extra night and stay as a family, you're better off not to pay for the athlete to stay in the room, especially if your room is just going to be an extra room for one night. You're better off to let me check her in the next day and then she can move rooms. That probably would be the better option. So if that is your unique situation, reach out to me and we can talk through each one of those scenarios. So when you arrive, I will have everything already checked in, and we will either be staying at All-Star Sports, All-Star Music, or All-Star Movies. We did not particularly care for All-Star Sports, however, they have updated that hotel and it now mimics the room layout of All-Star Music and All-Star Movies. So hopefully that we have that going for us, no matter where they place us. I will not know exactly where they place us until they finish filling up what they consider their maximum capacity for the resorts, and then at that point they will assign us rooms and they will let me know. So that's kind of up in the air, probably until late December, early January, that I will know exactly what resort. If you decide to do the package and use our reservation number and stay in the same resort, they will assign you to that same room block. But I published those rates, and those rates are good for the following things. It is their room, their entry fees to the competition, their 3 days worth of Disney Park Hopper passes, a $15 meal card, and entrance to ESPN Wide World of Sports, including all the transportation to and from their room over to there and back, and then to all of the parks. And then your package would include the same thing as well. I know that Morgan and I both asked for room requests, and we will do everything we can to honor those. However, Disney has some things in place that keep us sometimes from placing people in the same room, and I want you to understand that up front. When I register tomorrow, if anybody in the room is 3 or more years older than someone else in the room, it will not allow me to register them in the same room without a waiver from you. So I may be reaching out to some of you parents to see if it's all right that they stay in a room with someone 3 years older and then having you sign a waiver. Also, if someone in the room is already an adult, like for instance, I have quite a few people on varsity that are already 18 and a couple of people that are already 19. It will not allow you to be in a room with a minor until I get a release signed from both parties. So I have to have the person that is an adult sign the release, and then I also have to have the minor's parents sign a release. So this does take a little bit of time. So if for some reason I cannot fulfill the obligations that you asked me to by placing people in a room, sometimes it's because Disney will not let me. Also with that, we cannot have any adults that are chaperones in a room with people that are not their own child. So when I have 2 chaperones for JV, those parents have to be in the same room as their child, because you cannot be lodging in the same room with anyone that you are coaching or anyone that you are not the parent of. So I hope you'll be understanding as we try to get these rooms together. It's a very long process for me to register. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 hours for me to get it done if I have releases that have to be signed, and then all the deposits have to be paid, and then they have to approve everything, and then I get a confirmation number. So if you're not hearing back tomorrow about a confirmation number for you to go ahead and register, it's because I'm still waiting on one, or I might be waiting on a release or a waiver at that time. We also have lots of questions about parents who want to stay elsewhere at other resorts. And trust me, I don't blame you. Sometimes a value resort is just not for you. I get it. However, we would like to request that your child actually stay on our block if you are not staying on our block, because the transportation does take a long time. Last year, during the COVID year, they had almost 5,000 athletes, but in a normal year, they will have anywhere from 9,000 to 10,000 athletes, plus parents, plus grandparents, plus judges and chaperones and coaches. And so this gets to be somewhere near 25,000 people extra that they are trying to transport around. So the transportation does take a long time. When you stay at another resort, there is no direct link from your resort to the ESPN Wide World of Sports without you coming over to one of the All-Star Sports, All-Star Music, or All-Star Movies venues. At that point, you can get on one of the varsity buses if you have the lanyard. So all of our kids would have the lanyard to be able to hop on those buses, and those buses run consistently. If you're using Disney transportation, it is going to back up because there are quite a few people that need to use it that are not staying on the varsity room block, and therefore will cause backlogs in the transportation. So it is our preference that the kids stay with us. If they don't, we will publish way in advance what the times are that they have to come over, and you will need to judge whether or not you can get them there in the amount of time that you need to. If you have a car, that would probably be preferable. If you are taking Disney transportation, it could take you an hour or more to get from, say, Coronado Springs over to the hotel that we are staying at, only to catch a bus and go over to ESPN Wide World of Sports. If you know me personally, you know I take safety very seriously, and I thank you for entrusting me with your athletes and allowing me to do what's best for them. So if you're worried about being at Disney and safety and chaperoning, first of all, let me remind you that I just said there are about 25,000 people that are there with the cheer competition. One of the ways that I make sure that the kids are safe is that I make them dress alike each and every day. Now, some of the older kids fight against this because they want to wear their own clothes, and I understand that for good reason, but it is imperative that we can be able to spot each other and to spot groups of us in the parks and even while we're traveling back and forth. So I do make the kids dress alike every day. Also, on the safety side of it, as far as being backstage, Morgan and I both have had to sit through a 4.5-hour class, and we have had to become certified with USA Cheer in order to continue to coach. So one of the things that we had to identify is safety with athletes, recognizing harassing and bullying, and various other things to make sure that we could pass the test and that we are allowed backstage. Our other assistant coaches also had to go through a shorter harassment video and make sure that they understand that, but nobody is allowed backstage with the athletes that has not passed a certification and cannot show a valid USA Cheer membership card. While we are at the resort, our resort will only be full of cheerleaders. There will not be any outside groups there. It will only be cheerleaders, and trust me, if you've been before, you know that that resort is full of nothing but cheerleaders and cheer parents and cheer coaches, and they're pretty much all looking out for each other. Not that everybody is a wonderful person, but it is definitely not just like being out in a regular venue where there could just be anybody. Also, when we go into the parks are relatively safe. When you get there, you're going to have to go through metal detectors. You're also going to have your bags searched. And then there are people around the parks to make sure that the kids are safe. We do not let anybody go into the park alone. That is 7th or 6th grade. Anybody above that, if you have a preference that the child not go into the park alone, then please let us know and we will make sure that they are with a group. The rule for the older kids is that they are always with a group of at least 4 or more, and they have to do a selfie check-in with me every 3 to 4 hours. And then I take those and make sure I count and make sure everybody is accounted for. If for some reason somebody wants to leave and go back to their room, their entire group has to leave and go back to the room. So safety is really important to us. It is really important to Varsity Spirit, and it is really important to UCA and their nationals, and to make sure that everybody there has a good, safe, and enjoyable time. So what does it look like when we get there? Well, as you recall, last year they did not let us check in as a group. I had to go do that myself. But in years past where we've gone to check in as a group, then there is an orientation. So regardless whether I have to check in and have everything ready for you guys, or whether or not we are going as a group to check in, you will be given this clear drawstring bag. And this bag can be worn into the parks. It's clear, it helps you get through security. A lot of kids have them from last year or the year before. That's great. However, my personal preference is not to have that. And for all you moms that are laughing, this will change your life. So we have these for a lot of the kids. I can get these, this is $30 if you buy it on Varsity's website. I can get these for $10. If you're interested in one, let me know. It is a fanny pack, and some people wear it across their chest like this, but this is allowed on every ride. You can wear this with ease in and out of transportation and into the parks, and it really just allows you just to keep all the things that you really need right here. If you want one of these, let me know. It is my preference to wear this versus a big drawstring bag that I have to take on and off. And if you're having a mask on and off, it obviously tucks right in here and you can just go on about your business. So let me know if you're interested in one of these. The only color I can get this in is silver, unless you want to pay $30 for it. So that's up to you. The other thing that I am going to be handed when we do our check-in is everybody is going to get a lanyard. This lanyard has to be on your person and has to be on your body when you get on the Varsity sponsored transportation. So when we get ready to go on a big charter bus over to ESPN Wide World of Sports, everybody has to have this on. If you do not have this on, and you do not have the right color lanyard, then you will be denied access on that bus. So if you are doing your hotel stuff outside of us and you're doing something else, you are not going to be given one of these lanyards, and you have to use the regular Disney transportation in order to get over to ESPN Wide World of Sports. Just so I'm upfront with you and you know that. If you do register with us, even if you upgrade to like Caribbean Beach or Coronado Springs, you will be given this lanyard, and then you can use the Varsity or UCA sponsored transportation. But if you don't have this lanyard, they will not let you on the bus. I will also be given their tickets their passes. Last year I had to do something different. I had to create a brand new My Disney app with all 48 kids in it, and I had to make park reservations. That may still be the case. We will see. In that case, I will not be releasing tickets to anyone until we get there. We had kids that brought their own magic bands and kids that wanted to link them to this, and the Disney workers were not happy with us. So we will see what happens this year. We will see if they make me go back to the My Disney app and link everybody together, or if they will allow you to do that, because in the past, when we didn't have to make reservations, I just passed these out and everybody linked them to their own My Disney app. But right this minute, I'm gonna go with that I'm going to have to put all 52 of us on the same My Disney app, and I'm going to have to call and get park reservations all at one time and make sure that all of our stuff is linked, and then I will hand you a ticket, and at that point I will release the ticket to you so that you can't go in and change the reservation for everybody. We will also, I do not know if they are doing a welcome party this year, but in the past they have done a welcome party with extra magic hours on Thursday night, which would be really great for us if they do that. But I do know that they are planning on doing a celebration party, which they did not do last year, in Magic Kingdom. I do not know if it will be at midnight, or if it will be up until midnight, or if it will be up to 2 a.m. as it has been in the past, but I do know that they are doing some version of that, which means whatever time the park closes, let's say the park closes at 9, we can either stay there until midnight or 2, whatever the decision is, and we will be issued a magic band. We will be issued an armband for that. That's usually a party that is just open to the actual cheerleaders and chaperones themselves. If you are interested in going to this, I believe you can add on that celebration party when you do your registration. Once we have schedules, which should be maybe like a month out from when we leave, I will do a very detailed block schedule that tells the kids what time they have to be dressed, what they're supposed to be dressed in, where they're supposed to be, and what time they would be possibly dismissed to go into the parks. And that way I can figure out exactly what the whole day looks like. So if you were hoping that you were going to take a family vacation and the kids were going to go cheer a little bit and then they were going to spend a lot of time with you, that is probably not going to happen. So last year, all 4 of our routines went to finals. Will that happen again this year? I don't know. That would be great. That would be awesome. But if it doesn't, they will have a little more park time. If it does, we will have a lot less park time. So right this minute, plan on the kids being with us for most of the day on Friday, for most of the day on Thursday evening, and then we will see what happens if we move on. And then probably Saturday, co-ed will participate, and then junior high non-tumbling will participate. So it may be that Sunday is our only free day. So we will just see what happens. I wish I could give you more detail, but if you've ever been to any kind of cheer competition, you understand that they save all of those details for the very end, and I will pass them on to you as soon as I know. So once I've registered, it will take me a few days if you participated in the mattress fundraiser, if you participated in the Pampered Chef fundraiser, if you participated in the Moms fundraiser, and then some of you subsequently will have stuff from poinsettias and selling some tumblers, I already know. But it will take me a few days. Once I get everybody registered and get that down payment done, then I'll get a confirmation number. Then I will be able to pass that on to you. And you will be able to go in and view your child's basically account. So a couple of things. If your athlete is in 2 routines, there is going to be an extra charge for that. You don't pay that. We will pay that. The school will pay that out of our funds, because that's not fair if we asked you to be in 2 routines to go ahead and then charge you to be in 2 routines. So I believe that adds $45. So you're not going to pay that. if you will give me a few days to be able to take all of that mattress fundraiser, mom fundraiser, and what other fundraiser, a Pampered Chef fundraiser that we had, and apply that to the account, then you would be left with a total amount. So let's say someone had a total of $740. And then they've already given me the down payment of $150. And so once I've applied that, at that point, that person would owe an amount that I could also apply the mattress fundraiser to, and then Pampered Chef fundraiser, if someone had some of that. And then let's say their balance is now $179. Let me get it down to that, and then you can go in whenever you want to between now and the first week of January and pay that off. There are some people that don't want to do any fundraising at all. They just want to pay it off. Once I get the monies added in and you just want to log in and pay it off and you don't want to do any more fundraising, that is fantastic. I would, however, suggest that several of you that may be struggling to get that money, look for some sponsorships. Earlier last week, I put in the band several sponsorship forms, and then if you wanted to sponsor a shirt. Now those are two different things. So I mentioned earlier that we wear all matching shirts every day that we're there. Last year we were so super blessed that we had 6 shirts and we had 4 pairs of shorts, and the kids really enjoyed having all of that and being able to change a couple of times a day. But if your business is willing to sponsor those shirts, that is outside of the sponsorship for anything in particular for your particular athlete. So I will get all of those monies applied. If you want to take that Nationals fundraising packet out to people and try to get sponsors, anything that you personally get goes straight to you. So for instance, if I walk into my dentist office and I say, "Dear dentist, will you sponsor me?" and he says yes, I will give you $200, and he sends me a check for $200, that is going to my trip. That does not get spread out amongst anybody else. It goes to my personal trip, and that could make a huge dent in things. I have some people right now, I probably have 5 or 6 people right now who have already fundraised all of their money and are going to be left with virtually zero, maybe $10 or $12. So it can be done. There's lots of people that do it, but then there's lots of people on the other hand that would just rather pay it and be done with it and not be bothered. And those people are perfectly fine with me too. Either way, whatever way you want to do it is great with me. Once we get there, what kind of money do you need? So that's another great question. This is what I do. So I have a child that has been there now 2 years, and then before that I went with Morgan 1 year to just see what was going on, and we found that this worked. So if you are worried about, especially an athlete on JV, that you're like, they've never really been away from home and I don't want to give them a bunch of money, they're going to lose it. Something that you can do is you can buy Disney gift cards, and those Disney gift cards can be used in every restaurant, they can be used in every store, they can be used in the park, they can be used at the resort that we're staying at. So those are a great way to control that money, and if for some reason it was lost or stolen, you can immediately access it, put a stop to it, and get it replaced. You can also do the same thing with like a prepaid debit card and let them have that. You can add a debit card to the My Disney experience and use that, but then you have to make sure they don't lose the phone. So those are some really good options. They will get a Disney dining gift card that has $15 on it, which sounds like it doesn't go very far, but it actually does, because I encourage like the younger kids especially to buy the kids meals. The kids meals come with an entree and 2 sides and then a drink, and it's way more than you need to eat. So a lot of times we'll do that, or I encourage the kids to split a meal because some of those meals are absolutely huge. So if you are trying to dine on a budget, it can be done. I always have a talk with the kids about doing it, about not wasting food, about not wasting money, about not wasting your money. And we'll have that little chat sometime soon so that they can remember it. I just want to make sure that you all feel comfortable with whatever money you are sending and that it's replaceable if for some reason it was lost. So the overwhelming majority of you have told me that you are either driving and going yourself or you are flying, which would be my preference too. However, I need to drive because we have tons and tons of equipment that has to get there, and I don't know any other way to get it there but to drive myself. So Mr. Capps had told me a couple of weeks ago that he did not have a bus driver, and that's fine, but I needed to know how many of you were riding the bus. So right as of this minute, we still may take a minibus, but I don't think that I have enough of you to fill an actual real bus. So if you are driving and you have any room for an extra person, please make sure that you let me know, because I do have a couple of people that need to ride the bus because they either don't have a parent going or they don't want to fly or they don't want to fly alone. The only other thing I can say about flying is check your times and make sure that you check where you are going. Last year I had a girl that flew to Michigan and then flew somewhere else and then finally ended up in Florida. And I was like, please let me help you make this plane reservation if you're not sure exactly what the best method is. I've had people that have flown out of Lynchburg. I've had people that have driven to Richmond, to Raleigh, to Greensboro, to Charlotte to fly out. So you can check all of those venues. I know that, believe it or not, plane tickets are not low right now. And we got plane tickets last year for like 30 and 40 bucks. So this is a little bit disheartening that they are not that cheap. It might be cheaper to drive. But if you're going to drive and you have room, please let me know, because I have a couple of people that do desperately need rides, and anything we can do to keep from using LCA transportation would be great, because they do charge us for that. And so then that's another charge that unfortunately in the next season I have to pass on to you guys. So let me know if that's a possibility as well. And then again, just make sure that you're checking to make sure that you are there on the 10th by 2 o'clock. Parents, I am looking forward to a great 4th time at Uca Nationals, and every year we've placed a little bit higher and a little bit higher and a little bit higher, and I love it. So we are a very small school compared to a lot of these schools. We compete against schools that have 3,000 and 4,000 students. So what we do is amazing. What your kids do is amazing, and I can't wait to see how they're going to shine this year. The goal is always to make it to finals. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that we failed. It just means that we have to come back better, stronger next year. And last year is going to be pretty hard to top. So we will do our best for sure. We're practicing hard, and we are looking forward to a great time. In the meantime, we do have several competitions along the way. Don't forget, we have FCC competition at our own gym that it will take place December 11th. And also it looks like the state final football game is that day, so we may be doing both. And then for co-ed and for JV traditional, we have the Smoky Mountain Championship, which a lot of you really enjoyed last year. And we will be going to that on December 18th. And I know that that is the start of Christmas break. And like I said in my video before the start of the year, I am so sorry. And they didn't check with me to see when my Christmas break was, and I didn't check with them to see when they were going to add that competition. But hopefully you can incorporate your trip to the Smoky Mountains into your Christmas festivities, and we are looking forward to a great time there and putting it on the mat once again. If you have any questions, and I mean any questions, there is no dumb question, you can either text me or hit the little chat button at the bottom and chat me, and I will do my best to get you an answer if I know it, and I will give you more details as we go along between now and February the 9th. Go Bulldogs!